from DeirdreMaguire.com, and I'd like to welcome you to another one of my videos. This is day 2 of a retreat with one of my very special clients, and I asked her about how she would like to know more about FEFT EFT, and this is what she asked. To get clarity on the process of tapping itself. It seems that there cannot be enough videos on how to actually tap. This is where people go a wee bit unsure. So what I put together is a sequence to help you and help her to understand the process of tapping, okay? So the first thing that you do is you notice how you know you are stressed, you're anxious, you're not at peace in the present moment, okay? So that's the first thing you do. You actually notice. Now, what have I written here? I've written here, notice how you may be anxious. You may have an event memory. And what do I mean by that? Well, something may trigger you and you think, oh my God, I remember when the dog died when I was 5 years old and I felt bad about it. So that's an event memory. So in that case, then that's where you would go. You would notice the anxiety now, and you would notice the sadness and all the emotions that you felt when the dog died when you were 5 years old, and you go to that memory specifically and you tap on it, okay? But that's not always the case, because sometimes you just feel anxious. You know, it actually happens to me. It happened to me there a minute ago before I started to make this video. I just feel that wee feeling in my stomach. So that, you know what that is? That's actually a memory with resources in the unconscious mind. So that feeling in your body is a memory with unconscious resources, with resources in the unconscious mind. That is very, very important to understand that, because the unconscious mind speaks to us in a lot of ways. Some of them is, it is in an event, like the dog at 5 years old, but other kinds of memories are the actual feelings in your body, okay? So there may be an anxiety, a feeling of anxiousness in your body. There may be an event memory that actually shows up, a specific event memory. You know, the dog died when I was 5 and I felt sad. You're stressed. You're actually in fight or flight. You're in fight, flight, or freeze mode. Your body has shut down at that moment. Okay, so that's why your heart may be racing. There may be all kinds of chemical changes going on in your body. You're noticing it, okay? Does that explain notice? Okay, so notice how you know, that's what that means. Then you tap, okay? How do you tap? You say, I let it go, I let it go, I let it go, I let it go. You grab your wrist, take a deep breath in, blow it out, and say peace, okay? Where do you tap? You tap between your eyes, you tap the side of your eye, you tap underneath your eye, you tap your collarbone, you grab your wrist, you take a deep breath in, blow it out, and say peace, okay? Sometimes I do it like this with 2 hands, okay? Sometimes I do it like this with 1 hand. It doesn't matter what order you do it in, it doesn't matter what side you do it on, it doesn't matter if you do it on both sides. It doesn't matter if you do it mentally. So if you're out in public and you don't want people to see you doing this, because it does look a bit weird, then you don't have to tap physically, okay? What's very important to know is that tapping is an interruption system. It's a pattern interruption system. So the important thing to do is interrupt the pattern of the anxiety that you've gone into. Does that make sense? So that's why you can do it mentally. The important thing is that you're interrupting that pattern of trance that you've gone into, okay? So how do you do it mentally? You just notice how you know you're anxious and you say, I let it go. You can say it out loud or you can say it inside. You're setting the intention of letting something go. You're not staying in the trance of it. Does that make sense? Okay, so you notice how you know, you notice the stressful situation. You tap, 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, take a deep breath in. Okay, what do you say when you're tapping? This is one of the questions that my client asked. She doesn't know what to say, and this is very typical. I don't know if I'm saying the right thing. When I'm doing sessions with clients, I'm doing something very specifically different, and that's a different thing altogether. That's not for now. But if you're in the heat of the moment and you're feeling anxious, what do you say? All you need to say is, I let it go. I let it go. I let it go. It's okay to let it go. It's safe to let it go. As I let this go, my whole world changes. That's what I say, okay? Why do I say that? Because I am setting the intention that I am ready for my world to change, all right? Because if I'm feeling stressed and anxious, that is something I want to leave behind, and my world is going to change. The quality of my life is going to improve. So I'll say it again. What do you say? Simple. I let it go. It's okay to let it go. It's safe to let it go. As I let it go, my whole world changes. It's okay to let it go. It's safe to let it go. You're actually consciously speaking to the unconscious mind. You're sending a message to the unconscious. It's okay to let it go. It's safe to let it go. Because there's been a certain amount of safety. The unconscious is keeping us safe. It's the intelligent idiot. That's what we know it as. The intelligent idiot. The unconscious is keeping us safe. So what are we doing when we articulate and say out loud, it's okay to let it go. It's safe to let it go. As I let this go, my whole world changes. Okay? Let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go. It's okay to let it go. It's safe to let it go. As I let it go, my whole world changes. Then you grab your wrist, you take a deep breath in, blow it out, and say peace. Okay? So, this is number 3. Hold the wrist. Grab the wrist. Grab is like an American way of saying it. What we say here is hold the wrist. Hold your wrist, and you're anchoring in good feelings in your wrist. And you go to that every time. I have anchored in so many good memories in my wrist that it's now easy. As soon as I do that and touch my wrist, my body knows to go back to peace. Okay? We're conditioning ourselves to go to peace. It's like Pavlov and the dogs. I don't know if you ever heard of Pavlov and the dogs. Okay, so what Pavlov did was he gave the dogs meat and rang a bell. Give them meat, rang a bell, gave them meat, rang a bell. And they salivated. And then he could ring the bell and they salivated and there was no meat there. It's called conditioning. So what I'm doing is I'm conditioning my body to go to peace, and I'm anchoring in the peace feeling in my wrist. All right? Because there are lots of meridians there. But that's not even so important. It's just important that you understand what anchoring is. All right? So I'm anchoring in peace in the wrist. So you hold your wrist. You take a deep breath in. This is number 4. Take a deep breath in. Okay, so when you take a deep breath in, what you are actually doing is you are sending a signal back to the body that it's okay to come out of the fight, flight or freeze anxious situation, all right? And go back to peace. Now, when you take a deep breath in, you are sending a message to your autonomic system. Your autonomic system is your automatic system. It's the part of your body, the system in your body that grows your hair, grows your nails, beats your heart. And the lead horse of the autonomic system, the automatic system, is the breath. So when you take that deep breath in, you are sending a signal through to the unconscious that it's okay to go back to peace. Take a deep breath in, blow it out, say peace, all right? So then you take your mind consciously, deliberately to a happy memory, to a good feeling, okay? So think of something. I consciously know memories that I have, well, nowadays I have lots of happy memories. The quality of my life is so good now that I can easily go to lots of things that make me feel good. They really do. I can smile inside now when I'm just thinking about things that make me feel happy. Events, occurrences, connections that I have had with people that make me feel good. And I can consciously and deliberately take my mind there. I see what I see, I I remember, I'm very visual, so I can see the room, I can hear the voice of the person, I can feel that feeling in my body. So I am consciously and deliberately going to a happy memory and creating it now in my mind and in my body. All right? So we're very powerful, we're very creative. You may be very creative currently at creating stress, at bringing stress into your body. So now what I want you to do is to practice getting good at feeling good by deliberately and consciously taking control of your mind, going to a happy memory, Googling it, pulling it down into the present moment, feeling it, feeling good now, taking charge of your body. God, I really feel good now because I just did that. And you can do it too, okay? You can take charge. That's the key of the whole thing. You are in charge of your own life, your own mind, your own body. That's very, very important. That's what this work is about. That's the core. When people come to me for retreats, the one thing that I am focusing on is teaching them how to take control of their own mind and body and showing them in as many different ways as I can that they are responsible and they're doing it to themselves. We are doing it to ourselves. I am doing it to myself. So when I really do get this, understand it, and then implement it into my daily living, the quality of my life improves. Okay, so I'm going off on these stories here, but I hope it all helps you. Okay, so you take your mind consciously and deliberately to a happy memory. Then what do? You go back to the beginning. You go back to where you were in the first place. The anxiety you felt, the upset you felt, the annoyance you felt, the memory that bothered you, and you go back there and you check it. And you keep doing this. You keep doing this until this is gone. Until this is right down, until it's gone. And then number 7 is what we call flip. Now that means that you change this completely until you can't feel it, until it's not there, until it's gone. And you may feel that it's gone down, but what I want you to do is continuously check, make it come back. See if you can test yourself. Can I feel bad about that? Can I go at the memory or the anxiety or the experience from a different angle and keep testing it until you can't make it come back, until it's not there. And that is when you will experience a flip. It is changed. How you feel in your mind and in your body about what you felt upset about in the first place is gone. It's not there. You can't feel it. Does that make sense? Okay. So that's what flipping is. That's what we call it in the trade. We flip the memory. So if there was a specific memory, the dog died when you were 5 and you feel upset, anxious, annoyed about it, okay? So in your mind, you can play a picture. You can see the dog dying. It was run over by a car, and there it's lying at the side of the road. And you see that picture, that movie, that film, that event in your mind. The truth about it is that it's not happening now. You are creating it now. It happened when you were 5. It's not real now, okay? So what you can do is, when you notice, you do this, try it, it's good fun. You tap, you do this, follow this procedure, and then it will fade and fade and fade. And then eventually it won't be there. And you won't be able to make it come back. So here's what you do. What would you like to have happened that day? You might as well put something good in there. So that day, I would like the dog to have come into the house and we had our tea and everything was okay. Okay, so you can make up something good. Okay, so you may say, well, the dog's dead anyway. Well, okay, so let the dog die nicely, quietly, in its sleep. All right, make it up. Because here's the thing, it is made up now anyway. All right, now that may challenge you a wee bit. You may argue with me on that one and say, I remember when my father died. I use this example all the time in my workshops and when I'm working with clients. Okay, so my father took his own life. So that is not the dog dying on the road. That is a big T trauma in my life. Now here's the thing, I can either hold on to that for the rest of my life and feel sad, depressed, angry, guilty, whatever, okay? Or I can let it go, because the truth about it is it's not happening now. The event happened, it's over, he's at peace, it's time for me to make peace. Does that make sense? So you take your memories and you change them, change how you hold them. I can't change the event of my father's death, but I can change how I hold it. And what I actually do in my mind is, I have worked on this memory so many times now that when I think about my father, I have beautiful memories. I do not think about the sad stuff. I don't need to. Okay? Does that make sense? This is a long video. This turned into a long one, but I really want you to understand this, okay? So, right, where are we? So we flipped it, and then I have here what I call what we call the reframe, okay? The reframe. So this is very, very important. So after you've done all this work, I will ask my client, even if it's the toughest memory, the hardest thing, the biggest trauma, the awfulest thing that ever happened, I want you to reframe it. So I will ask my client, or I will ask myself, what was the gift in it? Now you could say, you know, what's the gift in sexual abuse, for example? Or how can there be a gift in that, Deirdre? What was the lesson in it? What did I learn from it? What has that made me into now? What was the gift? Because if we don't reframe it, we're going to stay stuck. All right? So let's find a reframe. And it's not always easy the first time. All right? My father's suicide. How could I ever reframe that? Well, the truth about it is that if that hadn't happened to my father, you would not be standing here listening to me now. You would not be listening to me. Okay? So the reframe in it is that my father helped me to change the direction in my life so that I have a better quality of life and that you will have a better quality of life. That's what a reframe is. It is not taken away from anyone, but it is honouring yourself, honouring life by improving the quality of your life in this present moment. Does that make sense? So this is what I say. What was the gift in the old memory, in the event, in whatever trauma you had? What was the lesson in it? Because here's the thing. You can either let something bad or sad that happened to you direct your life or destroy your life. And that, my friend, is always up to you. Okay? You can either let it direct your life, change the direction of it, improve the quality of it, learn from it, see the lesson in it, see the gift in it, or you can let it destroy you. You can let your life go down the toilet. It's up to you. This is where the responsibility comes in. Does that make sense? Okay, I'm going to recap quickly and then that'll be the end of it. Okay, so what do? When do we tap? How do we tap? What do we say? Number one, notice how you know. Your anxiety, it may be an event memory. Notice how you're stressed. What you feel in your body, whatever it is that you have in your mind, notice how you know. Tap. I let it go. It's safe to let it go. It's okay to let it go. As I let this go, my whole world changes. As I let it go, I am doing this to me, and it's safe to let it go now. Okay? Take a deep breath in, grabbing your wrist. Okay? Take your mind to another place consciously and deliberately. If you don't have happy memories, make one up. It's all made up in there anyway. The other thing you can do is consciously go and have fun somewhere. Consciously, deliberately practice feeling happy and use it there. All right? As the worst case scenario, if you cannot find anything good, I want you to know that I love and support you in your work. All right? So at least feel that. I want you to feel the love and support that I have for you in your work. I really do think you're brilliant. Anyone I know who's doing this work has my deepest, deepest admiration. All right? Okay. So take your mind deliberately and consciously to something good. Then go back and check it. You may do it once. You may do it twice. You may do it 10 times. You may do it many, many times. But go back and check. Keep going back and check and keep doing this until you have flipped the memory, until you can't feel bad anymore. and until you make the memory up good, all right? And then reframe it. What was the lesson in it? What did you learn from it? I've talked enough. I hope whatever you're doing today, you're having a really, really good one. It really, really, really is always, always up to you. You're in charge. You're in control. It may not always feel like it. It may feel like they're doing it to you. But when you adopt this attitude, this belief system, when you operate from this model of the world, the quality of your life absolutely improves. I know I am finally my own proof. That's what I always wanted, and that's what I want to give to you now. I'll talk to you again soon. Take care. Bye.